welcome back to Utah Single Tracks. I'm Rob, and we're back for another bike build addition to the 2021 KTM 300 XCW. In the previous video, I showed the installation of these end bar mounts for the handguards, and today I'm going to show you how to remove the factory handguards, and we're going to replace those with the Cycra Handguards that I have previously purchased from Rocky Mountain ATV. So we're going to break this down, and part of the tools that you're going to need for this is an 8mm end wrench. I like to use these Tusk T-handle wrenches with my set, and then you also need your kit that came with your bike that includes these rubber protectors as well as the bolts and nuts that you'll need to replace the existing handguard clamps. So we're going to go ahead and get started on today's edition of Utah Single Tracks. Alright, so these are the pieces that came out of the stock KTM bag that they provided with the bike. I'm going to need both of these plastic protectors as well as some new bolts that will go on the clutch and on the brake side. There's also the corresponding size nuts to go with those, and I'll show you why that's important as we come back over to the bike. So we come to the bike, these existing handguards have different size bolts. They go through the top and are threaded into a threaded bottom here. So we'll need to replace this bolt with that new bolt they provided for you. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. We'll get this handguard removed, and we'll show you the installation of the new Cycra guard. Okay, so now I've removed all the items out of the Cycra handguard package, and it includes your two handguards with your two bars on each side, a pair of plastics for the ends, the bar ends go here, as well as the inserts, which I've opted not to use on this install. If you were to not use the bar end clamps that I put in previously, you'd be installing these into the ends of the bars. And I've noticed over my riding experience that these ends, you can see how they have a little bit of a gripped end, do not hold in very well. They tend to become loose and slide out over time. So I've opted to go ahead and junk those. So what I'm going to do now, while I have the bike or the parts out on the bench, is I'm going to go ahead and get all the parts together and put the bars on the bike first. That'll give me some mounting platform to screw the hand guards and the end guards to the bars in place. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now these are the bar clamps that the hand guard will bolt to. So these are also a Cycra brand, and I've actually liked these ones quite a bit. They'll mount for the 1.5" bar or 1.8" bars, and you can see the part number there. I'll try and focus that in. Again, I got these when I bought the bike from the Faye Myers Motorcycle World shop while I was there. They're a great shop in Idaho or Colorado. If you guys are ever in the Denver area, I would highly recommend them. But we'll go ahead and get these end clamps installed on the bars and get started there. Okay, so we're now back over the bike. Going to put in the Cycra bar mount, and these bar mounts obviously mount so it's legible with the dish facing up. You'll slide these underneath your clutch cables, and line up the clasp on the other side. with the corresponding Allen bolts. Go ahead and get this started and in place. And we'll be using a number 4 Allen wrench to tighten these up. So I'm going to go ahead and loosely put these in place right now so we can adjust for alignment with the hand guard as we get ready to put it in place. If you clamp it down tight now, it's most likely not going to be in the right position. Again, while I'm doing this, I'd like to just mention I'm not being paid to endorse any of these products that I'm showing you. These are just products that I've learned over years of riding and experience and trying out different products that work. So the products I'm showing you here, I have thoroughly tried and tested and proven before I would even recommend it to you guys to try and put on your bikes. I think they're quality products. So, all right, next we're going to be installing the hand guard onto the bar end and onto the clamp. So I'm going to go ahead and loosely start the bar end into that threaded insert that we previously installed. So again, I'm just going to loosely fit this on here for a minute. And then I need to remove this number 12 bolt from the bar clamp. And the bar's up, and then you can begin to snug up this main bolt up front. And again, I just lightly snug that down for a minute. I'll line the front bolt. I'm going to go ahead and tighten the bolt that goes into the hand guard. And again, careful not to force any of these aluminum bolts or inserts because they do have a tendency to want to strip threads on the bolts very easily. So now that that's starting to snug up, I'm going to loosen this end to allow it to move in as I tighten it. Again, don't over tighten, just get those snug to where you want them. I'm going to re-tighten down this main clamp bolt. And it is a heavier duty gauged steel, so you can tighten this one fairly snug. And that is the install for the bar. And I've got my clutch lever to where it's out of the way. So now I'll bring over the plastics and begin to install the plastics on the bike. Okay, now I'm going to put on the end plastics, and you'll want to make it so it does say Pro Bend facing up. So I line up the holes on the top, and these screws are self-tapping type screws, but I do not recommend over tightening. Because you can strip those screw heads. So I get that nice and snug, and then I'll move on to this next. I'm gonna back it out and reseat it. So let's seat it a little bit further. Get it a little bit tighter on there. Okay, like the way that looks. The Cycra Handguard. And these screws have a metal washer that comes with them that seats in the indented holes in the handguard. So you need to make sure to line each of these up properly. I'm gonna loosely tighten that one on, and then I'm gonna go. Lightly tighten that one on. And now for the last. Lightly snug them all into place now that they're lined up. Sometimes you need to work these screws back and forth to build a thread pattern before they seat completely. I started to strip that one, so I'll stop. And that is the install of the Cycra Handguard. Well guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna get the other side put on and move on to the other parts of the bike that are gonna be coming up. Thanks for watching. If you like what you've seen so far, hit subscribe down below. Thanks guys.